Hard work is the barrier of entry that keeps the riffraff out. You're either in or out. If you're not going to invest in leads, best thing, just don't do it. Just don't start, because you don't have to do this, okay? But when you don't know whether you're even going the right direction, guess what starts happening? You start losing hope. Remember, the harder the barrier of entry, the better the success. This is the Haven 12. We pour our heart to the wrong people. It's like a girl that's with the wrong guy. Your loving persona does not begin until the person is willing to play ball. Agabor here, Haven Talk, and we're going to be going over a couple of topics. And as we go through these topics, throw down on the chat anything that comes to mind, questions, comments, because it's going to be helpful for you. Now, a couple of things that came to mind this week. Now, we want to give kudos to those who suffered silently so that you can be recognized publicly. You'll see the recognition coming up on our Facebook page shortly. But a couple of helpful topics. I've thought about this for some time, and I thought it'd be very, very helpful. Here's what we know. Most of us are not afraid of hard work. Most of us actually like hard work. Hard work is the barrier of entry that keeps the riffraff out, right? Because if it was easy, everyone would want it. So just remember, don't want what you don't want. So when you're struggling, I don't want to use the word struggling. When you're grinding, or rather when you're submitting and going through the process, because struggle is a mental space. Right? It's a mental space. You can be going through the process, not struggling, right? So when you're going through the process and submitting to it, here's what we know. If the vision is clear, the price is easy. If you know where you're going, you don't mind doing it, you embrace it. But if you're struggling and you're like, man, it should be easier, just remember, the harder the barrier of entry, the better the success, because the barrier of entry is what keeps everyone else from doing it. If everyone else succeeded after 5 dials, whatever it is, then guess what? That'd be great. One person dials 1, 2, 3, 10 families, sells them all, right? Someone who has little skills, or maybe you came from no background, you didn't level up, you sell them all. That's great for the first maybe 100 people, 200 people. But then guess what? The opportunity is over because there was no barrier of entry. Some of you have witnessed this when it comes to leads. Certain lead sources, they were awesome. You let all the world know about it, guess what happens? Diluted, gone, right? Now it's nothing, right? You guys remember Kool-Aid? You know, I don't know if you were like me when you were little, man, it was so good. That sugar, whoo, that diabetes. Love me some diabetes. We put all that sugar in, and man, I wanted it to last longer. You know, Kool-Aid was cheap, but we didn't have the money to get more, or we didn't have more sugar. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna throw some water in this thing. Man, no one's thought of that before. So I kept putting water. I'm like, man, I am the smartest person in town. No one knows about this. Next thing I know, I'm drinking water, right? So all I'm saying is your struggle, your challenge, better said, is your blessing, because that means that the barrier entry is real. If it's easy to do, everyone would do it, but it's simple to do and simple not to do. So just remember that. But my point in saying that is, to starting off, is if the vision is clear, the price is easy. So we're going to talk about today how to keep the vision clear, how to make sure you're on the right track. You're going on a short journey. For some of you, you have just short-term goals. You just got to know that you're on the right direction. You've never been in this place before. Your friend said, hey, turn left here, turn right there, turn this, turn there. And, you know, you're driving this car. You might be driving and you might be seeing some sketchy neighborhoods, right? You're like, am I in the right place? And you're driving, as long as he said, hey, when you turn left and you turn right, you'll see the Mickey D's. It'll have like a broken glass, you know, it doesn't matter what the landmark is. As long as they give you a landmark, you know you're going the right direction. And as long as that destination is worthwhile, maybe it's helping a friend, right? Maybe it's fulfilling your why. Maybe it's extra, whatever it is, as long as the destination is worthwhile, then you'll keep going. But when you don't know whether you're even going the right direction, guess what starts happening? You start losing hope. I don't know what the statistic is, but I heard it said, and someone correct me, you can live X amount of days without food, You can live X amount of days without water, but you can live 0 days without hope. When your hope is gone, you're out. And that's what happens. So to allow you to make sure you prepare properly, we're going to go over the specifics today. And I'm saying this and I'm preparing your mind so that when you get this information, it'll just sink in. I'm preparing the garden so that when I give you that water, it's like, you drink it up good, right? So I want to make sure that that's clear, because a lot of us, we got short-term goals and long-term goals, but without anything that lets us know whether we're close or not close, we won't get there. But here's the more important. You guys ever heard of those stories of people that maybe went to Mount Everest or went on journeys and they didn't pack properly? Their heart was in the right place, but they didn't pack properly and they almost got malnourished. Some of us are so stubborn, and that's a good thing, because being stubborn is a good thing, that we won't let go. Like we're halfway through the journey. We know we didn't pack enough food and we're like, dang, at this rate, I'm gonna have to only eat 1 bite a day. And 1 bite a day going through the blistering sun, you're like, you know what? I've gone too far to go back now. It's going to be hard. So some of us, we have the opportunity to repack. You're getting to a post where you can refuel, get your tools. All I'm saying is, let's just make sure that you educate your expectations so that you pack properly. That's all I'm saying. So first topic before we jump into this. Stop casting your pearls before swine is a scripture that was said. The best way to make sure that you're ready in this business is to stop caring. I know it sounds so counterintuitive, but you ever heard of the term, when you care, when you overshare? You guys ever had that happen? When you're in a job, you think you got a buddy and you share more than you should, or rather you're getting interviewed and you think you're being honest. They ask you this question, and you just share your heart and declined, right? Right. And you knew that was actually, you thought you were trying to be helpful, right? You knew you were the person that was probably the best for the job. You knew you could do it, but oversharing got you in trouble, whether with the job, with your friends. The point of the story is you want to make sure that you give your jewels appropriately. What I mean to say is, all of us have such a caring heart. We got in this business because we want to help people. But you know what happens? We pour our heart to the wrong people. It's like a girl that's with the wrong guy, right? You've seen it before. You're like, how did that guy get that girl? Or you're seeing that guy, man, that person doesn't appreciate that person. Like, that's not going to last. You can see it from the outside. You can see it from the inside. You can't. So let me show what that looks like on the outside from an agent perspective. You have a heart that's willing to help, but so many of these people, some of these leads that we talk to, you don't resonate the persona of what they're looking for. I would say 95% of these folks are looking to be told what to do. They're not looking to be coddled. They're looking for an someone who has authority. Authoritarian, I think is the word. So tell them what to do. Example, going in with the approach is, oh, I'm looking to help you. That's one way you can do it, but you will get stomped over. You're not a nurse, or rather in that sense, you are the doctor. You are going to tell them exactly what to do, right? What do I mean by that? Well, Muhammad Ali, I think he was asked what his workout was. And he says he does, I think it was like, I do like 100, maybe 100, 200 push-ups. We were like, that's it for the champ? And I think they asked him a little further. He goes, I start counting once I start hurting. So he's like, well, how much is that? I don't know. Maybe I've done 200, 300. So the workout doesn't begin until he starts hurting. Here's what I mean by that in life insurance terms. The person that you're looking to work with, your caring attitude does not start coming in until you're talking to the person. Your caring attitude does not start until you set the table. Your loving persona does not begin until the person is willing to play ball. Until then, you have to shield yourself. Be the person that is the boss. You're the employee doing the deal because they bothered you by making the request. And your job is simply to get them the information. You set the table, tell them what it's going to look like in this financial hospital, how we do things here. Do we do blood work first? Do we go to the scale first? You see what I'm saying? Set the table. Once you set the table, then your persona can come out. Now, just remember this. There's two voices. There's your booking appointment voice, and then there's your selling voice, or then there's your presentation voice. So in essence, you almost become a different person. In order to book the appointment, you are one person. Then once they're ready to play ball, you are a completely different person. Me personally, I had to literally rebrand myself. That's just how it works. I naturally talk fast, and fast people scare people, okay? Right? Think about it. Who are you more scared of? The guy that, wow, he's moving around real fast, or the grandpa that like barely moves one foot a second? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he barely moves 1 inch. Slow people are not dangerous. Fast people are. So I literally had to start, hi, hey, so-and-so. Hey, my name is Mac. I literally had to like act like I spoke slower because that is my voice of booking the appointment. Now, once I got into the house, I spoke a little slow in the beginning, and then I set the table. Once it's game time, now the real Mac comes out. Now I go through, ask the questions. You know when the real Mac really comes out though? Because we weren't friends yet, because you got to be careful of that. People will like you, but not buy from you because you're friends. They literally disrespect you because now, they say familiarity breeds contempt. Because you're friends, they don't respect your position anymore. So I didn't become friends until we were doing the application, right? That's when I started asking about, the grandkids, the kids. Okay, telling them a little bit more about me, so forth and so on. That's when that came in. So just remember, y'all, don't cast your pearls before the swine. The workout doesn't begin until it starts hurting, meaning when you stop caring about the people saying no, you really haven't started the workout. So, I mean, you guys know how it is. Some of you have made dials, you start your dial session, you're like, oh, ow, all these responses. And then after a while, you just get numb to it. That's when you're ready to run. That's when you're in the grind. That's why you have to get a dialer. That's because you need that momentum. That stop and go stuff, it'll kill you. You stop, do this. It'll never give you enough momentum because what happens? You never let yourself go fast enough to feel the breeze of dials. You see what I'm saying? So when you feel the breeze, that's when you're able to identify the right person and move forward because you are cold. You're almost cold-blooded, almost, right? And then you reveal who you really are when you're running the appointment. I hope I've killed that enough. Don't cast your pearls before the sign, but before the swine. The less you care, the faster you find the ones that are deserving of you. And you are all that and a bag of chips. Just remember that. So that said, let me go ahead and transition to what we're going to talk about today. So as I was going through, there was something that we considered called the Haven 12. Some of us remember it, some of us don't, but here's what it is. These are 12 things that if you follow it to a T, you can literally predict your future. Who wouldn't want that? How many of you would like to know right now how successful, like if there was an AI computer would tell you right now, all right, here's Karina's percentage of success here. Like, wouldn't you like to know? Now, not saying whether or not you're going to fail whether or not you're going to quit or not quit because of this number. But if someone told you right now, if you keep going the way you're living in your life, the way you're using your diet, you will die in 1 year. Wouldn't you like to know that? I would. And then you can at least change it. This is what this is going to do. So let me go ahead and share my screen and I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down with speed. The goal is to give you a chance to be able to answer questions as we go through. So here it is. I'm gonna start with this one first. Let me, where's that little play button? All right. Someone pop it in the chat, put a 1. Yes, if you see it, pop it down so I'm not going and you guys don't even see anything. So please, somebody. There we go. Appreciate that. All right. So these are the 12 core, the Haven 12. So here's the deal. I'm going to tell you this. Hey, this is being recorded, but you can take it to the bank. Okay. Part-time is 15 appointments a week. Full-time is 30 appointments a week. Now, this is if you were doing in-home. If you do 15 appointments a week, on average, one family here is $1,000 on average. If you do 15 appointments a week, you'll do about $120 a year. Okay. On average. So that's the little disclaimer, the little tilde, right? On average, if you book 30 appointments a week, you will do about 400 a year. Okay. That's on average. Again, what's 400 families a year? That's 1,000 per family. And here's what the truth is. If you're booking 15 appointments, this is in-home numbers. You'll probably get about a 20% no-show rate, So you actually sit on 10 appointments. That's why it says run 10, right? If you're booking 30 appointments, again, 10 to 20%, I say 20 to 30% no-show rate, max 30. You'll sit on 20 appointments. You will close, if you're going part-time, you'll close 5, half of what you sit on. Not because you're super good, just because they wouldn't have requested the information or let you come to their house if they weren't someone interested. You'll book half, that's 5 in that scenario, 10 in the full-time scenario. 10, that's 10K a week, or 5K a week, 140 a year or 450 a year. Now, disclaimer, remember 30% of what you write will fall off. Just a fact. What does that mean? If you wrote 10,000, meaning you help 10 families in a week, it's really 7. Because why? Well, they've done this for a long time. They know the rates, yet they're still willing to advance you the money. They know that 30% of people, it may not be tomorrow or next week, but eventually 30% of people cancel. That's just the way it is. So just understand that up front that it's really 7. So have that set aside, right? Because it does happen. And the strategy is you don't, freak out and, worry. You simply, as long as you keep working, that chargeback will never be an issue because it'll compensate for itself. If someone sold me today, let's say someone sold 2 people. I was one of them, right? Better yet, someone sold 10 people. I was one of them. And 3 people, including me, canceled. But that's 3,000. But they didn't wait. I canceled maybe 3 months, 4 months later. But they used part of that 3,000, that money that they made to invest in more leads. And from that 3,000, they made more money, right? Yes, they got charged back maybe whatever the 9 months worth of that was. But they earned 5, 6, 7, another 10 from that lead spend. Do you see how that was simply an interest-free loan? As long as you properly invested it. If you went and spent it, that's your problem, right? Prime example, if I told you, hey, listen, Mary, if you go to the store, just walk to the store. I don't feel like doing it. Walk to the store and buy me some chips. I don't know. I'll give you, $1,000. So sorry, I'll give you $1,000. Oh, by the way, when you come back, because of just, life expenses, I'll take off 300 from the 1,000. So you still keep 7. That cool? Perfect. He's like, that's a great idea. $700 still? Perfect. You come back, but here's what happens. I don't ask for the 300 up front. I say, you know what, Mary? Let me just get it later. I don't need it right now. Just as long as I can get it. That's not a problem for you. But the problem is when it equates to $100,000 or $50,000. Maybe it gets to $100,000. I say, hey, Mary, yeah, I need that 300, which is that 30 grand now. Oh, I spent it, or I don't have it. There should be no confusion. I told you up front that it was going to be 30%, right? So remember, 30 will fall off. Just want to make sure that that's clear. So let's get out of that bandwagon. Not a problem if you continue. So let's jump into the Haven 12. Here is the 12. These are things that if you do, I guarantee you'll win. Like guaranteed. I know we don't do guarantees, but this is a guarantee. So it's simple to do and simple not to do. I didn't say easy, but it's simple. Not everyone will do it. Everyone can, not everyone will. The question is, will you successfully negotiate this process? This is a process. All these 12, you are a negotiator. Who you're negotiating against? You. It's not against Mac. It's not against anyone else. You'll see the leaderboard, all these people doing all these great things. It has 0 to do with them. It's literally you versus you. Before I go on, let me give you an example. When the U.S. was established, you know how it was established? It was established because we have the right when we are being treated unfairly, right? If it's a dictatorship and all that, they revolted, right? If right now we had a government that was oppressing us, I'm talking real oppression. Maybe they say all people with blue eyes go to jail for 10 years because they were doing all these crazy rules. After a time, a certain group of people would rise up and say, no, enough is enough. They would, collaborate. We've seen it all through history. That is how we had the war, right? In England, we went our own way and we established a new democracy. So when it talks about government takeovers, that's kind of heebie-jeebie stuff people talk about. But you got to understand, government takeovers is legit. Like you have the right, and it's in the Constitution, if this exists, hey, we got to do what we got to do. What government are we taking over? It's yours. Your mental government got you to where you are, meaning there's someone driving your mental car right now. How well is that person driving the vehicle? I know it sounds crazy. You're thinking, Mac, are you talking schizophrenia? Here's all I'm saying. There is a certain person that is apt in certain situations. Some of us, we are good at high stakes situations. Others, we quibble. Like, that is not us. You guys have ever heard of the moms who, they're like small and skinny, but their child is like stuck under a car, and somehow or another, they like just this emotion, adrenaline, they lift up the car and the child is saved. And they ask the mom after the fact, how did you do that? Like, look at you. She goes, I don't know. It just came across, I just felt it. Here's what I'm going to just propose to you. There is a person within you that can win here. The question is, will you let that person drive? Now, some of you, that person is driving right now. Others of you, you're realizing quick, this person is not suited for this course. And you'll find that the only way you can find out is by running the course, right? Some of you, you're suited for a straight shot. As long as it's a straight shot, I'm good. I just need a coast. Others of you, you're looking at turns, right? And hey, maybe you flop back. I was a truck driver, right? So I can use these terms. Some courses are just straight. Others are bendy, windy. I don't like them, but you go through them. And when I was going through a bendy course, man, I had to like grip my steering wheel, because when I was in North Dakota, man, the roads were icy, and there were times, man, I'd be like, my heart's beating. I'm like, all right, man, you got this. Like, I'm talking legit. I was scared because I had a load. It was heavy. It was chemicals, and I had to have my game on, And so I'm telling you, you may have to change your government. If you don't recognize that fact, you're going to be in trouble. So as you go through these 12, I want you to recognize, if you're having trouble doing them, you need to consider, is it the 12 or is it the way I'm doing it? Hint is the way you're doing it. So let's jump into this. And as you go through, guys, if there's any thoughts on it, questions, hey, if you think it's hot, post it down there too that it's hot. So first things first, submit to the process of 100. Whether you're brand new or not, if you want to start over today, and my recommendation to you, start over as if you're brand new. If you've been in this game for a while, like, start over today as if you're brand new. The worst thing that can happen to an older person being in this business is they get complacent. There's a stage called the no sleep phase, where you're so excited, you're brand new, you're going through it. You get through that, and then what happens is you get to a promotion. But sometimes what happens is, what's weird is, someone gets to a level and then they get stuck. How in the world did you start off knowing nothing? You got to a level and you're good, and now you can't go up. And you know more. How does that make any sense when you know more but you're stuck? That's like a quagmire. It's because you got out of the first phase, the no sleep phase, right? So again, start from scratch. Submit to the process of 100. You are not qualified to look at the scoreboard until you've run 100 appointments. When they told me that when I was brand new, if someone said, hey, if you simply run 100 miles, I know it sounds long, right? Let's make it more realistic. If you run 100 yards, there's a bag of 20 grand waiting for you, whatever the number is, right? Something far. Maybe you run 3 miles, 10 miles, let's say 10 miles. There's a bag waiting for you. I don't care how out of shape you are. How fast would you try to get to that 10 miles? So I'm telling you right now, 100 appointments is what you need. Some of you, are you tracking it? Like, are you tracking how many appointments? How many appointments are you through this journey? And if you're judging yourself before your 100 appointments, you have failed. Once you've hit 100 appointments, you are now qualified as an expert. You can now judge now, okay, now I know what I'm doing. Now I can run. Now, you're going to make money along the way. No, that's no doubt. But judging yourself and the probability of you succeeding before 100 appointments, you are not allowing yourself to win. So here's the step one. Submit, I said that word on purpose, to the process of 100. I will run 100 appointments as fast as I can. All right, that's one. Invest in leads every week. Leads, this is a leads business. Granted, we do start with our network, right? Your network is your net worth. You start with your network. There are people that like, and trust that need this, not that want this, need this. And can I be honest with you guys? I remember I was in North Dakota, and I got in this business a little bit afterward, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to talk to anyone I know. I'm so glad we got leads. I almost prided myself on the fact that I didn't have to talk to anybody. And there was this couple in my church, the best couple. Oh, they were the heart and soul of life. I'm talking awesome people, cool people. I mean, this guy, he let me borrow his, just different stuff that people wouldn't do. And I didn't talk to them about about options, right? Just to see where they are. And I come to find out about maybe a year after I've been in the business, the husband, this guy was an outdoorsman, cool guy. The guy, he comes down with this cold, goes to the hospital, right? And suddenly he's in a wheelchair. Not only a wheelchair, he's like this, paraplegic, like for real. If you knew this guy, you would be like, wow. The wife was the one that was the breadwinner, thank goodness. But man, she had to stay home, try to take care of him. I'm thinking to myself, living benefits, like, had I just talked to him? I mean, if he said no, that's on him. You know how hard a weight on me that is? That life could have been different. Maybe the wife could have taken who knows how long off versus having to go back and forth and take care of him now. But just remember, and you start with your network, but going back to it, you got to invest in leads because you can't sell your uncle or your friend another policy. I mean, you could, but you don't sell them policy every week forever, right? You got to invest in leads. Part-time, you guys have been on the Leads 101 call. Part-time is $500 a week in leads. And for you who may not have had a business, that's scary. Full-time is $1,000 a week. You figure how to do it. Now, there's different programs that can be done. Maybe you take lower comp for some leads, but whatever it is, you have to find a way to fund your business. You have to find a way to fuel your car. If you say, I can't fuel my car, I can't feed the baby of my business, the baby of your business needs food, milk, called leads. $1,000 a week is what you do for full-time. Now, what does that look like? It's typically a 1 to 4 ROI. So the question is, will you commit to investing in leads weekly? And by the way, as you go through all these, I want you to rate yourself a 1 to a 10 on all these. Okay. And at the very end, you're going to add up all the numbers and divide by 12. And that will give you your percentage of success in this business right now. And for some of you, you'll see, wow, I am in trouble. And you're going to have to successfully negotiate. Like, remember I talked about that? You're a negotiator against this government, right? There is a standoff. And if you don't negotiate it, you'll lose. So if you commit to investing in leads weekly, give yourself a 10. If you're like, maybe, give yourself a 5. I'll be honest with you, I say give yourself a 0 because you're either in or out. If you're not going to invest in leads, best thing, just don't do it. Just don't start because you don't have to do this, okay? Number 3, you got to commit to dial days. Structure is everything. You need a block structure. Here's what I mean by that. Hope is not a plan. Plan your success. Now, if you're doing virtual sales, the number of 15, is part-time, 30 is full-time. More if you're doing full-time virtual sales, it's more like 50 set is full-time, right? But you got to commit to dial days. If you're doing virtual sales, every day is a dial day. Do it in blocks. We have shifts here. Choose a shift. The challenge is you are self-employed. Some of us have never been self-employed. So we are terrible bosses to ourselves. If you were an employee to your business, Inc., would you fire yourself? Like, would you buy your own business? Right? If you were applying and the skills that you have shown and the effort that you put in were the skills that you were putting on your resume, would you hire yourself? What I mean by that is choose a shift, 8 to 11, 1 to 5, 5 to 9. Those are shifts when it comes to telesales. You're going to make 300 dials, and dial is each time you hit the green button, right? Two presentations or 1 sale in each shift. So each shift, 300, 600, 900. You know why? Here's what we know. It's either 1,000 dials or $1,000. You can take that to the bank too. It's so rare. I'm talking like rare that you make $1,000 and you don't make 1,000. I mean, you don't help one family. Come on. Like, that's rare. You weren't dialing. You were getting ready to get ready, right? Now, if you're going in-home, which is, again, my recommendation, I suggest those 100 appointments go in-home. My recommendation, if you're going in-home, 2 dial days a week. Mondays, you dial all day. I'm talking from 7:30 all day, whatever you need. You can break it up in shifts. Some people, they go in 1 hour sprints. So you dial hard for an hour and then you take a 5-10 minute break. I mean, however you want to do it, right? But you dial all day, and your goal is to book 15 appointments for the next couple of days. So if it's Monday, you dial all day Monday to book Tuesday and Wednesday. So between the 2 days, maybe 7 appointments one day, 8 appointments another day. All you're worrying about is booking appointments. That's it. You book the appointments. Don't care what the results are. Don't care what the results are. We're not calling to sell people. We're calling to help people. They requested the help. We're just fulfilling a request. Now, here's what I know. When you go out, 20% no-show rate, you'll sell half of what you sit on. So when I booked 15 appointments for 2 days, I was so excited because I didn't care what the results were. I was just showing up to pick up checks. I knew it. So when someone would no-show me, boom, awesome. Next one, I was just rolling. Okay. So just remember that if you commit to dial days, so Monday for Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday is a dial day for Friday and Saturday, and you dial on Zoom, FFL home office, give yourself a 10. If you don't, give yourself a 0. Okay. Next one, run 15, 30 appointments a week. You commit to doing it. You commit to doing it. You commit to, I will dial what it takes to book 15 appointments if I'm part-time, 30 appointments by full-time. And again, you're tracking this. You have a mentor, leadership. This isn't luck. If you're not, for whatever reason, getting to these numbers, that's a beautiful thing. Because, hey, Mac, hey, so-and-so, hey, Vernon, hey, Melissa, hey, this is what's going on in my numbers. Like, what do you see here? Like, the numbers always tell the story. We can tell. What kind of objections are you getting, right? If you're doing the dial. So the truth is, if you're not getting the success, it's just one thing, It's 3 things, one of 3 things. You're not doing it right, meaning you're not actually making the dials. You didn't commit. If you're making the dials, that means you're not doing it enough, right? Like you're not getting enough objections, period, right? Or if you're doing enough dials, you're getting the objections, that means that you just need to get better. The third one, like that's where you work on helping you overcoming certain objections. And just so you know, don't get freaked out. You will still do well closing 2 out of 10. In order here for you to succeed, you don't have to be an objection aficionado and super good. No, you'll get laydowns. Remember, it's a law of thirds. A third will say no matter what. A third will say yes no matter what. And a third will say yes or no depending on your skill level. You know, when I first got started, my confidence had been so jaded. You guys can remember I was in North Dakota, had a tumor. I couldn't drive anymore. I couldn't work. All that stuff happened to me. I lost all my confidence. I went from having everything to 0. I'm talking below 0, right? And when they told me I could do this, I was like, are you sure I can do this? I mean, I've gone through a lot. Like my confidence is really soft right now. And they told me that there's a third that will say yes no matter what. I was just going for the third. So when someone would say no, I hung up. I didn't overcome objections. I was just going with the numbers. So speed was my friend. You guys see what I'm saying? So you'll do well regardless. And because I went after the third, I hit Hall of Fame. It's that simple. So if you commit to run the 15 appointments part-time, 30 full-time, when I say you commit to it, you will do what it takes. Meaning you will follow up with your leadership. You will track your numbers, then give yourself a 10. If not, 0. Sharpen your sword daily. So those 4, by the way, I'll keep going. That means sharpen your sword daily means that you will do something every day to get better. So what that means, well, you listen to a podcast, listen to a sales training, something on a daily. I'm talking 5-10 minutes. Jump on YouTube before you jump on the call. Or hey, if you're smart, what if you woke up early, read your personal development, read your Bible, and then read your personal development, something that trains in your mind to be better at negotiating the takeover, because it's you versus you. The best part of you can do this. Question is, are you putting the best part of you in, or the right person in this? So sharpen your sword daily. Here's what that means. That's, I think, 10 pages of a good book, I believe. But sharpen your sword daily, I believe that is related to actually the work you do. So listening to something that's related to you getting better, how to, get better at dials. There's millions of YouTube videos on FFL almost about that. So 1 through 5, you will win just being a high paid salesperson. I want to be clear. 1 through 5 is just being a high paid salesperson. So if you don't want to build a business, all you want to do is just sell, I'm talking at a high level, your challenge is hidden in one of those 5. That's the problem. And that's also the solution. Now, if you want to build a business, the remaining applies to you. So if you were wanting to just stop there and, hey, I'm just interested in just selling and making my bills and making money, add up all the numbers that you rated yourself, divide by 5. And if you guys are confident and willing to be transparent, If you were just looking to be, and let's say all of us here were just looking to be salespeople, post your percentage on the chat. And hey, let's be real with each other, because hey, you might as well begin with the truth, because you're going to end up with it. Transparency is a beautiful thing. Now, if you want to build a business, here's what it looks like. You'll talk to 2 people a day. You'll share that website, havenfg.com/y. They'll see the story of FFL and why they should do this. And if you just 2 a day, that's what you'll do. You'll attend a weekly team huddle. This is builders training. You'll be here every week to get trained. If you commit to that, give yourself a 10. If you commit to the number 6, give yourself a 10. Attend a quarterly sales conference. And by the way, if you say, I might come in, I might not, maybe a 5, give yourself a 5, right? We have a quarterly sales conference. If you, every quarter, meaning every 3 months, you go to a sales conference. There's one all over the country. You need to refuel. If you commit to doing that, give yourself a 10. If you're like, maybe if I get the sales, give yourself a 5. If you're like, I don't know, it's tough traveling, give yourself a 0. And this is just real talk, y'all. If you're going to attend a national conference, by the way, you need these national conference. This is the formula to win big. National conference, it will shorten your learning curve 6 to 9 months. Ask anyone that's been there, guaranteed. It's in Dallas, Texas this year. It's free. Did I mention that? FFLconvention.com. If you have not registered, register. There's only 5,000 people they're letting in. We'll go through all that later, but it's worthwhile your time. Give yourself a 10 if you are going. If you've already said you're going and you've booked something towards it, maybe a flight, hotel, give yourself a 10. If you said you were going previously and you haven't done anything towards it, give yourself a 5, because the likelihood is not going to happen. And then, of course, this is commit to personal development. This is number 10. This is where you read 10 pages of a good book every day, 15 minutes of a good audio. So you literally read with your eyes, I guess you could do digital, but 10 pages of a book, and then listen to an audio. You're just involving multiple senses. 15 minutes of an audio, good audio. If you need one, there's a book called The Slight Edge. Listen to it. Of course, 11, find a workout partner. We got some in here. These are those small things. You ask LeBron James, remember that people were having a heyday about LeBron James and KD working out together. Like they were pushing each other. And guess what? They were about to play against each other in the playoffs. They said, what's the problem? We're workout partners. We are pushing each other. When people at that level have workout partners, shouldn't you? So get a workout partner. Find someone that will hold you accountable to your goals. Meaning you will say, hey, I did this. You know, me and Vernon were talking recently. He checks in about every day. 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, went to the gym. Every day. Is it because I'm his daddy? No, because you need a workout partner. You need someone to hold you accountable. Everyone does. You ask all the greats, you do. And then, of course, 12, make a decision to be here 1 year from now. So, guys, take a picture, screenshot. This is the Haven 12. Now, if you're looking to build and just do the best all around to make sure that this was the most impactful, meaning you were the most resourceful, you literally got the most ROI from your time, you will do all 12. Now, if you simply want to just sell, that's cool too. The first 5. So again, go ahead for those, add those numbers up, divide by 12, and let's see what the numbers are. And I remember we did this a long time ago, and people were so honest. People were like, man, I'm like a 40%. I'm like a 20%. Oh, I'm like a 10%. And you know what was cool about that? We followed up the next week and they went up. One who was 40% went up 41%. Then she went up 45%. No one's asking for perfection. All you're looking for is growth. That's it. Growth is something you can do. So that said, guys, that's it. If any questions on there, I'm going to go ahead and close here. Now, not got any questions we got, throw them on the chat. And for those who are actually grinding in the field, you'll have questions. I just being honest with you. Challenges that you're facing, anything at all that we need to handle. I'll give us about 30 seconds.